The man stopped and stood by the side of the road. Something was screaming in the distance. His relaxing hike in the woods just turned into a nightmare scene. As he approached the noise, hundreds of scenarios ran wild through his mind. What could have been hiding in the bushes? When he saw it, he couldn't believe his eyes. Man hears screaming in the woods, fears for his life. John Crutchley had a difficult upbringing, but he managed to get into college and graduate through hard work and determination. His childhood was not a dreamy one, but his single mother did everything she could to provide for him. His life wasn't easy at first, but he made it work. He was working at a movie studio, and he loved it, even though it had its challenges. John's work wasn't always easy. He worked on the set of a movie studio, and at the time of his strange encounter, he had trouble dealing with the stress. John was working in Virginia on a movie set located near the woods. He considered venturing into nature, but some gut feeling kept stopping him. Until one day, when he decided to explore the woods, he would never be the same after that. John was having too much. His job was draining him, and he needed to find a way to unwind. John remembered how he loved hiking with his late father when he was little, so he decided to rekindle that passion. One day, John put on some basic gear, not planning to go far, and he took the first road he found into the nearby woods. He just wanted a simple relaxing hike, but got much more than that. This wasn't the first time John went hiking. When he was a child, he used to go with his father all the time, but he had never gone into the woods of Virginia before. He had his water, snacks, and equipment and was ready for adventure. Although not the kind of adventure he ended up finding in those woods. The woods were deep and unknown to John. But he wasn't the type of person to get scared easily. He loved adventure, and after the stressful period he had, he thought this was just what he needed. But as soon as John got deeper into the woods, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching him along the way. What could it have been? Or was it just his imagination? John enjoyed his hike so much that he lost track of time. It was getting dark, and the roads were getting harder to see. If he weren't careful, he could be in a very dangerous situation. At one point, he said enough is enough. He decided to turn back and head toward the movie set. However, there was only one problem: he couldn't remember the way back. He was lost. The sun had set. John was officially lost and didn't know how to get back. He tried to make peace with the thought, saying that he would just go with the flow and enjoy the adventure. But then, suddenly, he heard a sound from the bushes, and his heart almost stopped. He increased his pace and tried to follow the first road he found. He was getting desperate at this point. The sound kept following John, and he didn't know what to do. He didn't know what it was, so he just kept going. And then suddenly it stopped, but John realized that something else was in those woods. John realized that he was now getting closer to a loud screeching sound that seemed to be made by a person. He wasn't sure, so he decided to get closer. No one could predict what followed. John stopped in the middle of the road. The sound was the only thing he could hear now. He still couldn't see what made it. But that didn't stop him. He gathered all his courage and ventured inside the bushes to check out what it was. When he saw what made that loud sound, he couldn't believe his eyes. John moved the bushes aside and discovered a tiny orange kitten. It was crying its lungs out and was waiting for someone to save it. John knew he had to act, and he had to do it quickly. The kitten was dirty and in poor shape. Who knows how long it's been there by itself, in the middle of the woods. The kitten was visibly malnourished, so John took a piece of his sandwich and quickly fed the tiny creature. The kitten ate quickly, but he kept screaming at the man. John took the little kitten in his backpack and headed back to the road. He eventually found his way back to the movie set. He was now on a time-sensitive mission to ensure the kitten's survival. John took the kitten to the vet, fed it well, and made a life-changing decision for both him and the kitten. He decided to fly back home from Virginia with the kitten. He prepared all the documents and embarked on the next flight he could together with the little bundle of joy. If John didn't find it in the woods, who knows what would have happened to it. John named the little kitten Cheeto because of the way it looked. Its head was way bigger than its body, and it looked like the mascot of the famous brand Cheetos. It also had the color orange. Cheeto and John landed home safely, and John kept the cat at his place at first. But he soon realized that his job might take him away home for long periods, so he had to find a solution that suited them both. John gave the kitten to his mother, who fell in love with it on the spot. She was retired, so she had plenty of time to play with Cheeto, and everyone was happy. The story of their rescue made it to the internet, and it quickly went viral. It was a 1 in a million chance to find each other in those woods, and yet they did. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.